Your Army adventure begins not with glory, but at the legendary Reception Battalion, where the military exposes you to its own special style of customer service. Do you remember how excited you were when you joined? That thrill will go away faster than your civilian identity when you have to stand in formation for 6 hours simply to acquire 3 t-shirts and a haircut that makes you seem like you lost a bet. "Welcome to the Army, Private," says the board specialist behind the desk, stamping your paperwork for the 7th time. It seems that the final 6 weren't official enough. You might think you joined up for national duty or a weird bureaucratic obstacle course when you see the same stamp hit your documents over and over again. You will never forget your first morning in the Army. As a normal person, you won't wake up to an alarm clock. Instead, you'll hear a bugle call or the sound of a metal trash can falling down the middle of your bay around 0430. "Why are you still in your bunks?" your drill sergeant will ask with a smile. "The enemy doesn't sleep while you dream about your mama's cornbread." That means put your pants on right in 30 seconds or fewer in Army lingo. Then there are uniform checks, where you'll find out that there are around 147 ways to wear a camouflage outfit wrong. Belt buckle is 0.3 mm off center. Push-ups. Do you think the laces on your boots are too long? Push-ups. When you stand still, are you breathing too loudly? You guessed it. More push-ups. Private, why does your uniform have a wrinkle? Your drill sergeant will require the same level of enthusiasm as someone who is defusing a bomb. Their uniforms look like God himself ironed them in the meanwhile. It repels wrinkles, dirt, and almost all known forms of materials. You will learn that GPS is for civilians when you learn how to navigate on land. Instead, you'll be left in the woods with a map from the Reagan administration, a compass that points in every direction except north, and coordinates that appear like they were written in ancient Sanskrit. "It's easy," your teacher says. "Just look for Point Golf 937. It is at the crossroads of a creek that dried up 3 summers ago and a road that is no longer there. After 6 hours, you'll find out that you've either gone in circles or stepped into another unit's training exercise. You might even be misunderstood for an invasion, which is worse. The Army reveals how much they care about guns at the rifle range. You will clean your gun very carefully for 3 days, shoot it for 20 minutes, and then clean it again for 3 days. Cleanliness? Not necessary, but you should keep your gun clean. When you scrub it with a toothbrush, you'll smell like you just came out of a gym sock. Private, I still see carbon in that chamber, your range instructor says, finding microscopic residues from 15 feet away. But they don't appear to care when their sleeve is stained with ketchup. Then, welcome to the motor pool, where you'll learn about every Army vehicle but never be allowed to drive one. What do you do for a living? PMCS stands for Checks and Services for Preventive Maintenance. This is when the Army looks for problems it already knows about but wants to keep an eye on. You will check the fluid levels on trucks that haven't moved since the first Gulf War. WD-40 and duct tape, or 100-mile-an-hour tape, become your new best friends. They fix 90% of problems. What about the other 10%? Just remark, "good enough for government work," and move on. Living in the barracks is like taking a psychological test on your own space. NASA would say that the checks on your room are overly strict. There is a right method to fold your towels. You should be able to make a quarter bounce on your bed. And what about your wall locker? Put in order by size, color, and maybe even by the first letter of the name. Meanwhile, sharing bathrooms will educate you more about your fellow soldiers than any team-building exercise ever could. It's not enjoyable to share 3 shower stalls with 20 other people when someone yells that you have 30 seconds left. Then there's Army finance, which is so complicated that even a quantum physicist would be confused. You will feel like you won the lotto when you get paid twice in 1 month. What comes next? Nothing at all, because the system decided to fix itself. Tell your landlord that you can't pay rent because DFAS is doing something weird with your paychecks. The finance clerk will look at you and say, "No, Private, I don't know when it'll be repaired. Have you tried not to spend money?" The Army teaches you that comfort is a luxury for people who aren't in the military. In weather that makes penguins shiver, you'll sleep on the cold ground. The heating element in your MRE will break, and you'll eat beef stew that is colder than your drill sergeant's heart. You can find sections of your body that can blister that you didn't know about. The highlight? The night fire drill? You'll be so exhausted that the tracer rounds will look like a beautiful light show, and you'll start talking to your helmet in deep ways. Another staple in the Army is mandatory training. You will have to sit through a lot of PowerPoint presentations on a wide range of topics, from how to lift a box to sexual harassment. The teacher seems to be seeing the slides for the first time, and the training DVDs appear like they were manufactured in 1994 for $7.50. You will still need to sign at least 3 rosters to indicate you were there, even if you were clearly dozing off for most of the session. When you arrange for deployment, you learn about the Army's strange idea of time. You need to be there at 600. Therefore, you should get there at 0530. Then, you'll sit there till 1400 because someone lost the manifest that was in their pocket the whole time. You'll acquire 87 pounds of items that you absolutely need, but most of it will stay in your duffel bag. And even if you check your packing list a lot, you'll still forget something crucial, like socks. When you're deployed, socks are worth more than gold. CQ duty, or charge of quarters, is the Army's specific technique of ensuring you never get a full night's sleep. As a private, you'll have to sit at a desk all night waiting for calls that never come and deliver messages that could have been sent. What do you do for fun? An Army regulation manual from 2007 that is all crumpled, and a vending machine that doesn't work. The NCO will say, "Don't sleep, don't sit comfortably, and for the love of God, don't look happy." Then they'll be gone for 3 hours to inspect the premises. But not everything is horrible. It's not common to travel this way, but you can see far-off countries through the glass of a transport truck on your route to your next training site. You will get free housing, which is also known as barracks with character, which indicates mold problems. And say goodbye to having to choose between hard fashion choices. Everyone wears the same thing every day. You'll also acquire a very specific form of resilience, how to get by on 2 hours of sleep, strong coffee, and sheer wrath. People who hire civilians may not know what displayed resilience under extended field operations means on your resume, but they will feel it. As a veteran, you'll miss some elements about Army life that you used to loathe. Friends will get bored of hearing you say, "This one time in the Army." You will still wake up at 0500 for no reason. You can eat in less than 5 minutes, and you'll call your bathroom the latrine. But most importantly, you'll have a group of people who know what some real Army expletive means without you having to explain it to them. You'll tell stories that are so wild that they can't be made up, but they are all true. And you'll be quietly proud of yourself for making it through what would make most people give up before lunch on the first day. So, to all prospective fighters, get used to the unpleasant stuff. That drill sergeant yelling right in your face? They're not mad. They're just getting you ready for a first sergeant who will do the same thing for a lost belt loop. And hey, at least you're not in the Coast Guard. They deal with the same crap, except they're sick from the water. This video has not been approved by anyone in the Army's leadership, which, regrettably, makes it the most accurate image of Army life you'll ever see.